How's it going, everyone? Welcome to Watch It Drive. I'm your host, RodZ. Today we got a special guest, Mr. Jamie, and awesome co-host, Mr. Tuesday.
How you doing? What's up? What's up?
Thank you, Jamie, for taking the time to come on and for people to know your story.
Peace, kid.
So let's get started. What got you into cars?
So this was a question Rachel asked me last night.
She was trying to prepare you.
Did you give Rachel the whole list of
No. So what happened was my mom and dad consummated me in the back of a 64.5 Mustang, and that's what got me into cars.
To this day, that's probably the best answer I've ever gotten.
I'm talking when they did the first sonogram. The doctor looked at the sonogram. He's like, "Is that a Hot Wheels?"
That was pretty good.
No. So when I was younger, my dad was into conversion vans because that was the big thing back then. My mom was always into sportier cars, 70s sporty cars. So my dad would take cargo vans, cut them up, put all the carpet and shit inside. So I was pretty young into the car game. I guess I was originally an old school mini trucker. Shaved antennas, shaved door handles, custom paint jobs, dancing beds, all that shit. And,
so talking about the dancing bed, not to cut you off, how hard is that? Because I've seen that in cars, and I'm like, how does that even work? Because you see, like they driving like the mini trucks, and then there's other shit, kind of like.
It's called a double diamond Z rack. It's hydraulically actuated, typically with 2 motors and a couple rams. It's just a rack that'll go left, right, and then forward and back. So,
yeah, that's some engineering shit right there. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean it's dump truck technology back then. I had a couple trucks like that back in the day. It was a lot of maintenance.
Do you miss it?
Was it really?
Mini trucking? Nah, I like to go fast. Yeah, that's when we used to heat springs, like literally put the car in an alignment rack and heat the spring with a torch until it went down. It's good,
Seriously?
Rode like shit.
I remember people cutting springs. I didn't know people heated up the springs to like lower the cars.
Yeah.
I don't know that was a thing.
Heating the springs was the original way, and then you cut them later on.
No shit, that's crazy. Wasn't that you weren't sketched that it was gonna make? Does it make the metal weaker once you heat it up?
Well, that's exactly what it does. It just collapses the spring wherever you heat it. And it'll sit flat with the other spring.
Oh, okay.
So each one of those you heat would drop it half an inch, half an inch, half an inch.
Okay, so you're just kind of collapsing one coil on top of the other of the spring.
Yeah, and I was 10th grade auto mechanics class. Boy, we were dropping everybody's car.
Yo, that was.
We're gonna do it after school.
I'm telling you, man. I was like, Mr. Frazier, how do we load? Mr. Frazier was my auto mechanics teacher. He's the guy I got to thanks for all my debt. He showed me that shit, talking about how they lowered cars in the 70s. And I mean, my cousin had a Corolla. I'm like, bring that shit over here. It still wasn't, we heated the whole spring. It wasn't low enough. We just took the springs out. He rode around, bouncing around. It was no 1.8.
Yo, I didn't even know you could ride around with no springs either.
Oh yeah, man. We did all sorts of crazy shit back in the day. There was no lowering springs. Lowering springs weren't a thing when I was in high school.
So at what age, let's say like the early 2000s, the like coilovers and springs do you remember start coming into play?
So coilovers, you were the baller if you had coilovers in like 2000, 2001.
Really?
Yeah. So that's when Eibach companies, when the Sport Compact
H&R
spring thing, Sport Compact cars came out, that's when Eibach was probably one of the first in the game. They started selling lowering springs, but coilovers, they were coming in like Tane. If you had Tane dampers,
Yeah.
bro,
Those were expensive.
Yeah.
Seriously?
I had a pair of 10 on my Accord, but I couldn't afford the dampers.
So the damper's like the top hat, right?
Yeah.
Oh God, those things.
Because I seen even now the things like you have to take your OEM top hat and put it on the whatever the thing comes and then like set it up in your car.
Yeah, those, like, if you had actual team, that when the coilover, the full coilover came out, I guess 99, 2000, something like that.
Dang.
They were expensive. Like,
I wasn't even in the U.S. at that time. I was still a little kid.
2002.
I mean,
Ford, yeah.
yeah, I mean, I was a judge for hot and poor nights for probably 4 or 5 years. And if that was like, you got a 10 on your points if you had coilovers.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. That's really, really cool. So, being that you, like, you know, took automotive in school and stuff like that, and is that what you do for a living now?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually a collision technician for a company locally.
Okay.
Rather big nationwide company.
So, is there a big difference between, like, what's it called? Like being employed for a collision company or versus like a actual body shop, or is it like the same thing?
So, as a person that's owned a body shop and a custom shop and worked for mom and pop shops until I came to North Carolina, which actually got kind of scammed into it because when I came here, Wilburn was a mom and pop shop. And then the big MSOs, MSO is called a multi-shop operator. They came and bought up basically everything in Charlotte, and now those big companies have merged even more. The advantages are they have the buying power to get the parts quick, and you get the latest and greatest technology.
Like as equipment to use to complete the job?
Yeah, welders. We got the best welders, the best frame measuring systems.
But there's a cost to that. You got to pay. Compared to a mom and pop shop, you're not going to pay as much versus going to the bigger companies. You're going to be paying a significant amount, I would think, right?
So, as a customer,
Yeah, as a customer.
if your car's just got a dent, you know, you need a fender replaced, a bumper replaced, I would go to a mom and pop shop, save the money,
Okay.
get a reputable mom and pop shop and get it fixed. There's no reason to pay the MSO rates,
Yeah.
which are probably twice as much as some of the mom and pop shops,
Right.
for stuff like that. But if your car's in a wreck, you got to take it to the MSOs because the MSOs, they're going to follow the repair procedures. They have the proper welders, all the proper equipment.
To like pull the frame, straighten it out.
Straighten it out. And
So, talking about that, like at what point is a car considered like total loss that you guys, okay, that's it, this is, you can't fix this? Does it depend on the value of the car, or like how's that determined?
Insurance companies.
kind
But I mean, it has to go to you guys first, right?
Yeah, the car comes to the technician first. And honestly, for me, myself, I repair each and every car like my daughter and my wife are getting in that car.
Right.
So if I look at a car and I tear it down, I'll be like, would you want your, even with all the proper equipment, you got to think to yourself, would you want to put your wife in this car or let your daughter drive this car even after it's been repaired? Because these manufacturers, they design the cars to sacrifice themselves to save your life. But also, they have what's called planned obsolescence. All right? If your car is totaled, you're buying a new fucking car.
Yeah.
All right? That's how they make their money.
Right.
They don't make money repairing cars. They sell cars. All right? And they sell parts. But these cars are designed with all these ultra high strength steels. So the caveat to ultra high strength steel is it's strong. And they'll design it to crumple to absorb the energy from a crash. But repairing them is virtually impossible. They have to be replaced.
Interesting.
And if you don't have the proper equipment, the proper welders to put these things back in place, you're actually making the car more dangerous.
Well, because I guess it's not built up to safety standards at that point.
Exactly. Because if you got a MIG welder, which many of us have MIG welders at home, and you go to fix your car, you go to a mom and pop shop and they MIG weld your frame railing, every single place where they put a MIG weld, where it's designed to have a resistance weld, is now brittle.
Oh, so the chassis could snap.
So basically, I mean, there's been lots of cases where stuff like that has happened. And people have got killed because of it.
Imagine going on the road, hit a pothole, and then your car just like breaks in half or something.
That won't necessarily happen, but if you're in another collision, we got a car in my shop right now that car wasn't properly repaired. He got hit in the right quarter panel, and the entire rear body panel came off because somebody MIG welded the rear body panel on poorly.
Holy shit.
So the insurance company,
the whole fucking other side falls.
yeah. So the insurance company had to total this car because they had paid someone to repair it. Now, what the insurance company does there is, do they go after the body shop that fixed it prior, or they just wash their hands of it and get rid of it so everybody's happy? So a technician has to make that decision of whether or not you want to repair this car or
Total it out.
And now, especially with the biggest MSOs and the way the insurance companies are auctioning these cars off, they get salvage value. If the salvage value is higher than it costs them to pay off the car, the insurance company still makes money.
Interesting. I didn't think about that.
So I haven't really done a structural job. I haven't replaced a frame rail in a car in probably 5 years, 6 years.
Seriously? Wow.
Yeah, I totally know. And another thing to take into consideration is if it's a brand new car, somebody's upside down in it. Because nobody's putting $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 down on a car.
Right. Let's say like
when
a
it's brand new.
like a 2024 car or something.
Yeah, if you buy a 2024 Hyundai Sonata, right? You put your $5,000 down, you make your payments for 3 months, you get in a car accident. Unfortunately, with depreciation, you're upside down on this car.
Right.
So that's a decision that's typically outside of the technician's hands that needs to be made between the customer and the writer and the insurance company.
Is that when like gap insurance comes into play?
Yeah.
Gap insurance, that's what gap insurance is for. But then you have companies that are like a godsend, like collision safety consultants. He's out of Belmont. His name is Billy. He'll go to bat for you and make sure you get paid for your car and get what it's really worth, because the insurance company is not going to pay you what your car is worth.
Interesting. Okay.
So you need to give me his number.
Yeah, we need to have his information.
I talk with Billy on a pretty regular basis on Facebook.
Yeah.
I send a lot of customers there. I'm not supposed to, because but I'm just a technician in the back talking to a customer, you know?
Yeah. But I mean, at the same time, you also like, you looking at is like, what if this was me?
Exactly.
So like, you don't want to get fucked over, as some insurance will fuck somebody over in a heartbeat just so they could wash their hands.
But yeah, and that's, so everybody needs to know, you pay your insurance premiums on the money. If you're a day late, they can cancel you. So you pay your premiums.
Right.
What everybody doesn't know is that you're paying them for a service to protect you in the event the shit hits the fan, all right?
Yeah.
Now when it comes down to it and you make your claim, you know, like the neighbor that's always, that like the good neighbor, right? They're more like the fucking neighbor that borrowed your lawnmower and won't give it back to you free. Right? That's okay? You'll be like, listen.
That is a clip right there.
That's fucking funny. That was good.
It's fucking...
But I mean, this is good information to know, because there's a lot of people like myself, you know, I'm learning a lot from what you're saying.
Yeah, the insurance company works for you. You take your car to a body shop because the insurance company steers you to that body shop, and that body shop is supposed to repair your car to pre-accident condition, right? But they got to follow the insurance company's guidelines. You don't have to take your car to the insurance company the body shop sends it to.
That was my next question. Like, do you have to use wherever they send you to, or you could try to source out?
You go wherever you want. If you're a friend of Eddie's out of Monroe, you can take your car to Eddie's or McClure's Collision in Charlotte on South Boulevard. You can take your car there. You don't have to follow the insurance company. When the insurance companies say, well, then we won't warranty your car for life. They're not warrantying your car for life, because they don't figure you're going to get rid of it in a year anyway. No. You're probably going to get rid of it after the accident.
Right.
Now their hands are free and clear.
So now, have you ever seen the instance where you take it to like their people first, right? And then you go to another shop and they find more stuff wrong with the car that the original report didn't show? Like, have you run into that before?
I actually just had this on a F-350 Platinum. Beautiful truck. I'd never buy one, but... So it went to a competing MSO. He got it fixed, brought it back 3 times for complaints of issues. And then he complained to his insurance company. His insurance company sent him to us. Of course, since I'm the lead tech in the store, they gave it to me. I'm like, fuck. I hate getting involved in other people's messes. I get my creeper, throw it on the ground, lay there, turn on my headlight. I'm like, oh, fuck. Got out from under the car.
No oil pan.
It was fucked up, man. The bed wasn't even bolted down. It had like 2 bolts.
Shut up.
Holding the bed on this thing. The guy's like, there's something wrong with the rear end. Blah, 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 blah. I called my boss. I'm like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with this rear end. So
It's about to come off.
now we got to take the fucking bed off.
Check the frame.
This thing, it was fucked up.
Jeez.
So anyway, I probably shouldn't have. I should have mentioned the insurance company.
Just sleep it out.
The insurance company ended up
I'll
buying
believe
back
it.
the truck.
I'll make sure I believe it.
The insurance company bought back the truck. They made good, and then the insurance company bills the body shop that did the improper repair.
Also, the insurance could buy the damaged vehicle back. And what do they do? Do they send it to auction? Is that how it
Send
works?
it to auction, and they'll make their money because
Oh,
you
shit.
see listen, if you or me,
Uh-huh.
we've got 50, 60K to buy some used cars for flips.
Yeah.
We're going to see that shit at auction for 20 grand, 30 grand, and buy it outright and sell it.
Yeah.
We don't know what's wrong with it. That's the thing about these like buy here, pay here lots. That's what they're doing.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, they buy cars. They go to an auction. They buy cars. They're not all like.
That just blew my mind.
Yeah.
Which is why, I would think you would want to go get a Carfax or a car report, right? To see what the history is. But even then, that
Those
doesn't
take
tell-
time.
They take time, but how true are the Carfaxes?
Carfaxes are bullshit.
Really?
It's just another money making opportunity because if you crash your car
Mm-hmm.
and you take it to a mom and pops and pay cash,
There's no
who's
record.
reporting it? None of these mom and pops are reporting the Carfax.
Oh, shit.
So
But you take it to these MSOs, is it required for them to?
the MSOs, your insurance company, even Jiffy Lube, they all report to Carfax.
Mm,
All these
That makes
corporate
sense.
companies, they're
Yeah.
reporting to Carfax.
Holy shit.
That's how they have your service and maintenance records. The dealers,
Interesting. That's...
that's
Holy
so
crap,
you
bro.
got
That's...
really, if you're buying a car,
You really gotta, like...
go get a
So let me ask-
pre-purchase inspection.
Let me ask you this question. So, it's probably everybody knows, I got a new engine in my car from the dealer. I have paperwork that says I got a new engine. Is that something that I should let people know, or even Carfax know if that happens? Like if I get into an accident. it's
Well,
like-
Carfax knows.
Okay.
Yeah, if you-
Like, it's already reported.
Yeah, if you did it in the dealer, it's gonna say
Okay.
Infinita South Charlotte service, engine replacement, whatever. All that stuff will be on there.
Now, to the best of your knowledge, so like his car has more miles than the 2024 engine that they put in it because they got the new engine from the new Nissan Z. Would that make the car cost more now, even though the body has more miles, or do they go by the speedometer?
They go off the mileage on the body.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Because my transmission is still at 74,000, but the engine is at 18, whatever it is.
Yeah, so you want to be able to just have your paperwork this way. If you ever go to resell it, look, my engine was installed at 50,000 miles.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So
Oh, okay. So that's like when private selling probably works out for you best, like better for you.
private selling works out better for anybody if you can deal with the Facebook Marketplace trolls.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Dude, you can't buy anything on Facebook Marketplace.
This is the worst. It's like you have a description there. If the ad is still up, it's available, and they still hit you up.
Yeah.
Is it available?
I'll be there in 20 minutes.
So here's the deal. I found a set of BC Ford wheels. This guy had it at $1,500.
Mm-hmm.
He has 2 pictures of 4 wheels, right? Like it's 2 pictures, and he says it's 4 wheels. He dropped the price down to $1,400, and I said, "Can you send me more pictures of the other wheels? Because if you got other pictures of wheels, that means you got all 4." Then he drops it down to $1,200 and still ghosts me. I'm like, bro, just send me the pictures. It's like it's not a huge deal. I'll go pick them up.
Maybe it's one of those scams, yeah.
I'm like,
Like if a deal seems too good to be true, it might be just too good to
Yeah.
be true. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. So the carbon lip that I have on my car is a side one, and the original price, like if you go to Z1 to order it, is $7.99 plus shipping and handling. So it'd be like, I don't know, close to like $900. I bought it for $250.
Wow.
Brand spanking new off of Facebook Marketplace. And at first I was like, this guy's bullshitting. But when he told me the price, I drove 2 hours to go meet this fucker just to try to get it. I was like, bro, if this is real, I'm gonna get it. Hopefully I'm not gonna get robbed, but I'm going. But I met him at like at a dealership. And he said, I was like, why are you selling it so cheap? He had a shit ton of Z parts. He was like, bro, I just find good deals and I try to hook people up. Somebody,
That's a good hookup right there.
yeah, I was like, I don't care that I have to drive here like 2.5 hours to come pick this up, bro. Thanks, I appreciate it.
Yeah, the Z community is
Unique.
very unique. Everybody's super friendly, especially in North Carolina. But me, I got my Z in South Florida, and the South Florida Z Car Club over there, they were all cool cats, you know. But the Z community here is it's a pretty straightforward place until society came into play, and then not some that was the wrong term, not society, but
Like the West Coast.
when the 350Z became a $10,000 car and an $8,000 car, at that point I started to see what was buying these things, and that was kind of what got me into selling my Z. I'm like, damn.
Really?
Yeah, because prior to that, if you had a 350Z, you know,
It was a really nice car. I remember
Yeah.
like when I was in my late teens, early 20s, I used to drive by this place that had a beautiful like red one with black wheels. It might have been a Nismo for all I remember. And I'm like, man, that's a beautiful freaking car. I wish I had one day.
Yeah.
And then I was able to, get the white one I had, the 2004 one.
I still
And-
think the 370s hold their value because you go to like a Carvana, they're still asking for 30K for it.
Well, I mean,
And
that's
Carvana's
post-COVID pricing.
expensive. Yeah.
But I was building 350Zs for other people long before I got mine. I had five
Really?
240s at one time.
Damn.
Literally had five 240s. I had my drift missile. I had my show car, and if I could show you pics of it if you want to post them. And at one point we were going to build Rachel one, and then I got tired of I drove this one. I finished this one guy's 350Z. I'm like, holy shit!
You're
It's
like,
a track edition. I'm like, started looking on Auto Trader. It was a magazine back then. You had to look at Auto Trader. Black and white pictures and shit. Yeah, I'm that fucking old.
Finally, someone older than me.
we got a real OG right
It's a
here.
real-
I'm a mini trucker, man. But I went and I drove one, and they had a C5 Corvette right next to it. It was similarly priced. I'm like, I'm gonna drive both of these. And it was a touring, so it had all the leather and all that shit.
hmm
The only thing it didn't have was the Brembos. I'm like, all right, that's not a big deal. I can get some Brembos. And I drove the C5 Corvette back to back, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, they both feel like I'm putting on a plastic. I mean, the 350Z interior was like a wetsuit inside.
Yeah.
You know? I ended up getting a 350Z because I knew I was going to drift it. I knew I was going to track it. And I had fixed a lot of C5 Corvettes that got crashed. And that plastic tub.
Like the front?
No, the back. Well, there's plastic tubs for the wheelhouse that are like panel bonded onto the frame.
Oh shit.
So the slightest little hit anywhere on that car, and you're replacing the tub, or you're gonna jerry rig the entire tub of the car up
Oh shit.
because
Interesting.
it's a fiberglass reinforced plastic on the C5s.
Okay.
It didn't have the only metal structural was the frame, 2 frame rails that went around. Everything else was a bonded in fiberglass tub. So I knew I'd be drifting it, and having 5 240s, I knew I was crashing it.
Right.
So I bought my 350Z, and it wasn't perfect. It was used. I paid like 18 grand for it. Right away, threw Brembos on it. The same day I got it, I put wheels on it, some staggered offset. I don't know. Wheel Pros. I'm like, hey, I got a 350Z project car. They sent me over some wheels, free of charge. They were heavy, cast, garbage. But I threw them on there anyway. And then I had Rachel's car in the shop at the same time.
What car was she driving?
She had a Civic Si. It wasn't an SI, it was an EX, single cam VTEC. and we were turboing it for her for Christmas.
Oh
So I
shit.
gave her the 350Z to take it to school. She went to Broward College back then. That's a whole nother story we'll get into. But anyway, I ended up with the 350Z versus the C5, mostly for crash repairability. Because
Right.
if I crashed it, I got my welder, get a quarter pound, easy fix.
So you know, not to interrupt you, that like when you went to buy a car, most people will look like motor wise. You were looking at it as like what will be the easier repair for what I want to do with the car.
Yeah.
That's interesting way to looking at it versus like what other people would normally look at it. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, I weighed it out. I knew Nissan parts would be more expensive. I knew it wasn't as powerful, but it was lighter. I personally liked the way it handled better than the C5 at that point.
Mhm.
Only because I thought the C5 was harder to drive. Like
Okay.
the 350Z was telepathic. You could put it where you want it, how you want it, when you want it. The Corvette, you were more wrestling it around than dancing with it.
Oh, really?
So I like to wrestle more than dance. So, I mean, that's why I'm on the dark side now. But I struggle with.
I don't know if that's the dark side. I think it's the bright side. Because I'd rather be on your side. No
Now,
offense, again, to the German side.
the German side. I wouldn't wish a German car my worst enemy. But,
When they're great cars, to
yeah,
a
they're
point.
great cars till your lease is up. Lease, beat, trade, repeat. Just, that's it. You lease it. I got my BMW. You trade it in because, I mean, the oil change intervals are 3 years or 39,000 miles, just like your lease payments. You know? So you lease it, change a couple oils if they're not included, and you get rid of it. That's BMW, Mercedes ownership.
Yeah.
Nissan is not that way. I mean, I feel like Nissan has lost its way, and that's when I started to step away because I wanted a 370 in this.
For more inspiring content, follow What's Your Drive on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Be sure to give us a like, comment, or share. And now, back to the video.
But I wanted a CTSV. I had to have it, you know. My wife and I struggled with it for a long time. You don't need another two-door car. I'm like, fuck, she's right. I don't drive this two-door car. What do I need another one for? Got my monthly issue of Motor Trend magazine. I'm scrolling. This is 2009.
I'm scrolling.
Flipping the pages.
I'm scrolling.
I'm swiping left.
Swiping left. Don't swipe right.
I go through a Motor Trend. I'm like, ooh, all right, best driver's car. I'm reading along.
Oh shit.
This Mo 370Z is in there. Comes in like second to last place. I'm like, what? Fuck out of here. And they had changed the driver's car edition. It was best performance car. Then they moved to best driving car for 2009. CTSV was in there. Miata, Cayman, 350Z, some fucking Jaguar piece of shit. And there was a couple nice cars in there. So I read the article, and the Nismo Z is like close to last, only because of the noise, vibration, and dampening. They changed it. They started to include all that stuff in driver's car.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, performance car is one thing, driver's car is a whole different ballgame. So I'm reading this article. Z is in there last, the Mustang, the Camaro, they're all in there down low. Third place cars, a 2009 CTSV.
Damn.
Only thing higher than that was the Porsche Cayman came in first place, and the Miata came in second place. Ain't no
The
fucking way.
Miata?
A Miata came in from.
What the
Dude,
fuck? How?
Driven a Miata?
I don't think I fit in them.
I want to drive a Miata.
Bro, so driving a Miata is like literally like putting on some boxer briefs, right? They just go with you everywhere. Like they handle fucking perfectly. There's just enough power to have fun.
Is that the same to be said for the newer Miata? The newer body style?
They're a little heavier.
Whatever it is.
I mean, I just drove a brand new one with the
Convertible?
convertible, the hardtop convertible.
Yeah.
I actually consider them, but god damn, this is a fun car. I already got a horsepower car at home. But then I have this.
That'd be nice.
You know, my CTSV, but I came back to my senses. Anyway, so at that point, my wife was like, we don't need another two-door car. You know, I'm like, she's kind of fucking right. I didn't want to say that. I'm like, we need another two-door car. This is just
Shit,
ridiculous.
she gotta know about it.
Oh, she's gonna know about it. I didn't argue with her, but I didn't tell her she was right. So the next day I came to her, I'm like, how does this suit look on me? You know? I'm thinking that to myself. I didn't actually do that. I'm like, all right, so maybe you were right about the Corvette. I slide that issue. I stopped swiping left. Or swiping right, whatever. The
slid out the magazine.
CTSV, 2009 CTSV best performance car. They literally called it a Corvette in a suit.
That's nice.
That's
So
kind of cool. That's a cool like
I'm
nickname
like,
for it.
that's what I'm gonna get. I'm gonna get a CTSV. I'm like,
So your car is a 2009?
it's a 10.
10? I would have never guessed, bro.
I mean, look at my Silverado, man. My Silverado's a 05, and that shit still looks brand new inside and out.
What?
Yeah. Original paint, both of them.
Holy shit. That just blew my mind.
What are your thoughts on the ATS V?
I love the ATS-V, man. They're fun.
Are they like
It's a
the
stout
V6
engine.
twin turbos, right?
Yeah. It's a stout engine.
It's small interior wise. Like I test drove one
Really?
and it's tight, but
Like even type for you, like
yeah,
Tighter than a Q50.
yeah.
what?
A little
That's
tighter.
the reason why I never got ATS because I looked at it, I test drove and I was like, feels good, but I just can't see myself doing this every day.
Yeah, I mean,
Q50, I was like, oh, that's bigger.
they're fucking fast as bulls and they handle like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
The Alpha platform.
I actually need to lose some weight and then get ATS.
So is yours like a manual, like your CTSV, or is it?
I struggled. So I looked and looked and looked for a manual for 3.5 years.
Really?
I got so tired of looking that I bought my Q50.
That was a beautiful Q50.
Dude, I went to Infiniti in South Charlotte to look at a manual CTSV wagon, pearl white, beautiful car.
Mhm.
It was automatic. I walked up to it, looked at it. I was like, it's automatic. Damn, I don't want that shit. I really wanted a wagon. So I'm walking around with the guy in the service department and I look and I'm like, the fuck is that? It was under a cover. They had it really, it was going to be like the dealer unveiling party. He's like, oh, that's the new G37 replacement. I'm like, can I see it? He hits the lights, shows me the female, like it lights up, you know, the headlight in front. I'm like, ooh, nice. Damn, I was kind of sold on it then, man.
Them front ends are aggressive.
And it was their dealer demo car, and it was Malbec black. I'm like, holy shit.
That was a freaking beautiful
Yeah,
car.
you don't see a lot of Malbec blacks out there.
Special ordered mine. Had Malbec black. It was the first one. It was probably, so the only people I know that had a Q50 lowered and modified was Vossen.
Mm-hmm.
So Vossen wheels, they had the first one, and he wouldn't tell me. I called Diego and I asked him what springs he had, and he wouldn't tell me.
Really?
Yeah, he wouldn't tell me.
Gatekeeping?
Yeah, he was gatekeeping. So I called
That sucks.
my buddy Joey, who used to live in South Florida, who now worked for Tanabe in California.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, hey, what do you got for the Q50? And he starts telling me that the Q50 is basically just the M37 rear subcradle. So he's like, take some measurements for me. Took some measurements, and it turned out it was close. So they sent me a set
Of the M37.
of the M37 drop springs,
Oh, Josh, okay.
and they fucking fit right in.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
didn't know that.
That's cool.
That's fucking news to me.
You know what? That's a cool. I always thought about Nissan. Like they always like you could interchange parts from like different
Yeah.
cars to make it work.
Yeah, and that's kind of been Nissan's downfall because they stretch their platforms out so long and there's so much parts bin sharing, you know?
Yeah.
Like the only real update, if you park a G37 and a Q50 right next to each other and you look at from the A-pillars, the top of the fenders, up over the roof, it's fucking identical. You look
Really?
underneath the cars, the front frame rails, everything's all the same. They made little changes here and there. The FM platform, all the way from the 350Z, is still basically the same.
Holy
It
crap.
looks like the new Z. They just took the Q370
370.
VR30 and just
Yeah.
Threw it in there.
took the skin off and just put a new skin on.
And
Two-door.
you know
That
what?
was it.
You gotta admire them because when the 370Z was getting old, we were all thinking to ourselves, we were at Z Days when Fosberg was there.
Yeah.
I'm
Bro,
like, dude,
that
all they need to do.
was sick.
Yeah, that was a 6 Z Days.
Yeah.
And I was talking with Chris Fosberg, and we're like, listen, all they need to do is take the 370Z platform, make 400 horsepower, and some sheet metal updates. And that's exactly what they did, you know? And he even said, he's like, oh, in 2022, there'll be something coming out. He said it'll be at least 2022. He knew things that we didn't know.
But it's crazy because he probably wasn't allowed to say nothing.
Yeah.
Bro, he drifted Fontana Village.
Yeah.
I gotta show you videos. That shit was fucking nuts. Yeah, it was
It
cool
was
as
fun.
fuck.
That was probably one of the best years.
Yeah. And then after that, kind of like the Carolina Z Club kind of just dispersed some for a little bit.
Yeah, we got Andy to thank for that. I hope you watch this. Yeah. Remember Andy, the guy with the GTR?
Yeah, with the Red GTR.
Him and his girl Nicole.
Oh, that's her name. I forgot her name. I knew there was some girls involved and some shit going on.
Yeah, bro. Anytime you get a girl involved in a car club, forget about it. If she's single, forget about it.
Bro, it got ugly.
It did.
Like people that were really close and cool, like almost came to blows. So we were like, all right, bro, it's time to leave. It's time. That's why I told you, like car clubs. That's why I just decided to.
Yeah.
But yeah, that.
I got a question for you. You went from JDM to domestic, right? Would you ever go back to JDM?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What would make you do it? What would make you sell the CTS?
I'll never sell it. One day that, except for the Escalade, I don't really care about the Escalade, but my Silverado and my CTS-V, I hope one day my grandkids could take that to Barrett Jackson and make some money off of them.
Nice.
You know?
Yo, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're clean.
They're extremely
People
clean.
clean. They're fast as fuck. I mean, even if you open the hood on my Silverado, you can eat off that shit. It's literally that clean. That thing's got 250,000 miles on it. So, but I would.
What would make you come back to the JDM world?
So if they took the new Nismo 370Z and put a manual in it and discounted about 10 grand, I'd probably go for it. Or
You mean the new
Lexus,
Nissan? The new Nissan?
new 370Z Nismo? Well, the new Z Nismo. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's still the 370Z.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit, man. It's a Z34. But the Lexus LCF Coupe,
Yeah.
Those shits look like the LFA.
dude, that shit.
I was telling him yesterday, if I was to switch up, I'd really go with the IS500, the V8.
IS500 is a nice car too. I try to talk Rachel into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're already thinking about the next car.
Really?
Yeah, the Q50.
You kind of just hit a wall with it.
It's just got. I mean, I had a 14.
Mhm.
She's got a 2023. It's got the same exact motherfucking issues.
Really?
It's 10 years later. Like, sometimes the infotainment
That
system
is the
just
shittiest.
it
Shittiest.
won't come on. Or like, I took it out the other day. I got her car a little sideways when we went to Raleigh. Straighten it back out. The infotainment system blacks out. I'm like, oh. She's gonna be mad as fuck. And I'm like, damn, I can't restart the car. I'm driving. So I held down the power button for like a minute and a half, and it finally came back up. I'm like, she's not gonna kill me.
Oh shit!
I'm not watching Rachel.
You can post it. I told you about it. It's just got the same stupid. I hate turbo lag with a passion. I fucking hate turbo lag. That's why I didn't get a GTR. I mean,
The
Andy's
turbo lag?
GTR, turbo lag. Yeah, when I worked at Wilburn, we got one GTR on South Boulevard, and I'm like, and it was just like a scratch in the back bumper. I'm like, oh, let me do this before I fucking fix it, just in case. You know, I drove this guy's car. I'm like, God damn, I hated it. I mean, it still handled right. You know, it had that 350Z-esque communication between the steering wheel and the front wheels, but just when you give it gas, and it's like,
delay.
you know, it's not like an LS, bro. An LS, you look at the throttle and it's going. You know, it's just the throttle.
It's all that torque.
Yeah, all that torque. But the new Lexus, the big coupe,
Yeah, that's nice.
that thing is dope. If I like, that would probably be my when my hair's all gray, I might get one of those because they still got a V8. They still handle well. They look like a concept car, supercar, you know.
Yeah.
But the IS 500 is pretty dope. I always like the RCF or the LSA, the ISF. Yeah,
It's nice.
ISF is nice.
yeah, they're nice cars. But I would come back to Nissan if the Z was cheaper and they made a manual.
Nismo.
It's
They
hard.
make a manual, it's just not cheaper.
No, I want a Nismo. I'm not.
Oh, you want
I'll
this?
never buy another Z car.
That is not Nismo.
Believe it or not, my Z, my 350Z was a Touring.
Mhm.
I literally had to go to Nissan and buy all the S-Tune parts separately and install them. So I made it a real S-Tune. I had a certificate of authentication. The S-Tune body kit came with. I did all that shit. But it was an authentic S-Tune.
Nice.
So my problem with going back to JDM really is, as you become an older car guy, you kind of get cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like when we're young, we don't give a fuck. We want what we want.
Yeah.
Right.
So the performance to dollar value of anything import is just not like for a brand new Nismo. Even if I was into the automatic, is probably close to $70K.
Yeah.
At that point, you're like, that's a
Camaro
Earlier,
ZL1 1LE and still have $20,000 to modify. C6, C7s
Yeah.
all day long, and the performance value. I mean, listen, for a $70,000 2024 Nismo Z, I could go buy a C6, about 20 pairs of white New Balance, all the jorts they got at Kmart or Walmart.
damn. He said Kmart. Yeah, you saw your intro. You had to go there.
I mean, you might have enough money to reopen a Kmart for the price of a new Z versus a C5 or a C6. You know, I mean, and all those Maui Nick shirts that you can get. Go to the car show. Them motherfucking something.
Pull up with a white
I
polo.
saved $50,000 by going Corvette. You know.
Oh, God.
But it's true, man.
No, you're
Like,
right.
How can you cannot justify Supra, New Z, GTR. The GTR is the same car, and it's a really dope one. The new T-Spec,
Oh, the Midnight Purple,
Gorgeous.
the Millennium Jade.
yeah, or even the Bayside one. They're
Oh yeah, the new
200K.
baseline. What?
200K. Now you're talking.
Fuck.
Now you're talking
Talking about R34 or 5?
R30, R35, 200K for fucking R34. I'm not paying that kind of money for no R34. I could buy a house for the price of a R34 GTR.
Yeah.
You know, I could build me a 5,000 square foot garage and fill it full of cars for the price of an R34. It's just ridiculous. And you still have an old Japanese. Granted, you have the iconic car that we all wanted in Gran Turismo. But you know what? You're still going to be with an old Japanese car that's going to need parts that you can't find that are super expensive. Get an R35 if you have to have a Skyline.
And then there's the Heritage program that they started, but then the parts are freaking extremely expensive because they don't make them no more.
Yeah.
It's just
It's true.
So I guess you have to be a real hardcore Nissan enthusiast to put that type of money out, right?
You just have to have money to blow.
Well, yeah, but you can blow that money on a Porsche GT3 if you want it.
But you
right?
could get a GT3 for 250,
Right.
300.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. You have to love Skyline.
Yeah,
And there's
you-
guys out there that love Skyline.
mean-
and I don't knock them, but I just can't see myself spending $200,000 on a
Not
car.
for no.
but then you
20-year-old
also
car.
have to like rebuild the motor because obviously it's a 90s car, early 2000s. So it's
Not to
gonna come
mention-
with those problems.
the rust. Nobody thinks about the rust that comes off of the cars in Japan.
Yeah.
I mean, there's one place in Japan that's doing full body off restorations before they bring them back, or before they bring them to America. I think it was $76,000, from what I understood, just to restore the body to original.
So now you're talking closer to 300.
So I got a buddy of mine who's got R33, and he got it, it's imported and everything. And he took it down to a guy in Georgia to restore it, and 70K, I think, maybe 70, 80K.
There's a lot
The
of
white
things.
Yeah,
Holy shit! And
Yeah.
then now he's getting it like.
but no, he's getting like engine bay totally repainted and redone. Like it's gonna be showroom pristine. But you're paying for that, right? It's
$150 an hour. A guy goes in, punches a time clock while he works on your car. Works on your car. When he stops working on your car, he punches a time clock.
yeah.
Or now it'd be on your phone, but that's just $150 an hour. There's no price on that shit no more. I mean, you used to be able to come to my shop back in the day. Be like, hey, I want to do a custom paint job on my car. And I could be like, take the whole car apart, color change, door jambs, everything under the hood. $5,000, $6,000, And they'd come out and have a flawless, beautiful paint job, pearl, whatever. Some of them would I'd call an airbrush artist in, and they'd pay additional for that. Now?
It's a wrap.
So what made you decide to like move on from having your own shop to like where you are now?
So I basically, my warehouse was 3,500 square foot, and I had an apartment in the back and a little courtyard, and I basically lived there.
Okay.
It just became cheaper at one point to stop paying rent on my apartment and live at the shop. So that's what I did. I did that for a long time. After a while, I would just wake up in the morning, go drive around South Florida for a little bit, and come in like I was commuting to work. It got old. Rachel and I hooked up, and I guess we decided at some point we didn't want to raise Selena in South Florida. So we moved here. I closed up my shop. Went to work for someone else. It was stressful having a shop.
Oh, really?
Owning a shop, owning a business is stressful. It's even more stressful now. Having to have shop insurance and insurance to provide for the people that work for me, and
Finding good help, I'm assuming it's probably one of the toughest. Like finding people that could do the job correctly.
Yeah, I was a small shop, but I had one guy, Asian kid, that I went to buy 240 parts from. For my 240, it was like whatever was before Marketplace and all that shit.
Craigslist. Weren't it?
Craigslist.
Craigslist.
Yeah.
Damn, I forgot about
He
Craigslist.
had some 240 parts on Craigslist. And I'm like going to meet this kid to go buy these parts. And I'm looking around his garage and his townhouse. I'm like, I own a shop. And he had 240 parts. He had a old Skyline R32 chassis or R33, something like that. And I offered him a job, and he came by, and that's it. He was hired. And he basically did a good majority of the shit while I was doing the money-making stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He was doing all my time-consuming shit. He was fucking good, man. Kid was good. His name was Brian. I still talk to him all the time.
Shout out to Brian.
Shout out, Brian. He lives in a luxury neighborhood, big-ass house in South Florida. But he's got BMWs and 240s in his backyard, The neighbors can't see the shit because he's got a big private thing of bushes. I asked him about it. He sends me a picture of his backyard. He's got probably 10 project cars back there. I'm like, dude, how the fuck do you live in that neighborhood and have your backyard like that and all the Karens and Darrens and not complaining?
Bro, this whole time I've always wondered what is the name for the guy equivalent of Karen?
Darren.
Fucking Darren.
How could it be anything but Darren? Hey, you can't say Ken. I mean, we just call him Darren. Fuck it.
Darren.
There's more of those now than anything else.
That's
So,
funny.
yeah, he just finished doing a angle kit on his third two. He's got 3 BMW 3 Series. So, yeah, he was good, man. He did a lot of work. But it was still stressful to make ends meet. And then every time you worked on a friend's car, I'm your friend, man. Give me a discount. Like, dude, I'm trying to run a business. But I was young, and at that point, it really wasn't about saving money. It was just having enough money to build my cars and pay my bills. But when it got serious, when it was time to grow up, I'm like, it's just easier to work for someone else.
So now that you say that, if you could go back and give yourself a piece of advice for everything you know now, what would it be?
I would like to say, stop spending so much money on cars, but I can't say that. I would say, don't get rid of any of your cars. because there's something about each and every car I've ever had that I still want.
Yeah.
You know, and here's my little secret.
You were a Ford guy.
I was a Ford guy. I'm not a Ford guy.
Interesting. Okay. What Ford did you have?
So I had a Cobra 93
Nice.
for a very short time and it disappeared.
Is it like a notchback or?
Fox body, hot
Fox, okay.
Then I had a Nissan hardbody in between that, slammed, of course, custom paint. Then I got a Thunderbird Super Coupe, and that car was my
Nice.
first. It was a '94 supercharged, my first extremely fast car from back in the day. And I blew that transmission up 6 times, and I'm like, "Fuck this, I'm done with it." And then I got. I don't even remember what I got.
So you had a big variety of cars.
I've had a little everything.
That's crazy.
Actually, that's not true. I've never had a German car. It's
Seriously?
not that stupid.
That's funny.
Yeah, I've never had. I mean, I had a Mercury Cougar with a 5.0. That was fast. That was a brutal car. Like it was a '84. I wanted a Thunderbird Turbo Coupe. I was a big Ford guy. I don't know why.
I mean, I guess growing up in the U.S. would be like hard not to be a Ford guy back in the day.
I find it interesting that you not that you're switching loyalty, but it's more like you have a love for every little brand throughout your life, like Ford, and then
yes.
Nissan, and then like now it's domestic Caddy. You know, like to me, it's like that's pretty dope. That you can still have love for each one, as opposed to like some guys are just straight Toyota or straight Nissan.
Oh no, man, it was different for me. I was a car guy. It didn't matter what the car was. I mean, my Matchbox car collection, I had pretty much 2 of everything as a kid.
Wait, so here it is again. The damn Matchbox things. I still don't know what that is.
Matchbox is a Hot Wheels, just a different brand of Hot Wheels.
Oh,
It
okay.
was before the Hot Wheels were like the cooler versions of Matchbox. Well, let's just say Matchbox are the welfare Hot Wheels.
See, I told you. I said this shit last night at the podcast. I was like,
Because it came up and I was like, is Matchbox what comes in the cereal box?
no. Hot Wheels is what you want. Matchbox is what you get.
You want to know what a car guy was? Now, it's past the statute of limitations, so I can say this. When I went to the grocery store as a kid with my mom, and they had cars in the Matchbox, in the cereal box, I would open every cereal box and take all the cars out. That's the kind of car guy I was. Motherfuckers, man.
Bro, you know how many dreams were crushed when the kid opened the cereal box and they're like, yo, where's my car, bro?
Like, you got it wrong.
There's 20 kids back there who just eat cereal with no cars.
And, bro,
You're like,
that's what kind of
that
car
would be
guy
a sad day, bro. I would have been crying.
I didn't care, man. I was putting my fucking car game on. My car game was huge when I was like 8.
Bro, that's freaking funny. So, out of all the cars you've had and everything you've done with cars, what has been your favorite memory?
Oh boy. It's actually a Charlotte memory, and it was when I first got my CTSV, and I found out how it was tuned and what was done.
Mm-hmm.
And my original goal was I wanted my first 200 mile an hour car.
Right.
So I hit 203 on a certain highway in Mexico, in Charlotte. Actually, it's past the statute of limitations. So on 485, before they had finished it, when the west side was pretty
Jesus,
empty.
that's a long time.
Yeah.
I remember when we did that cruise when they finally finished it.
Yeah.
That was cool.
No, this was way before that. There was nothing out there. The airport was like the end of civilization on that side.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I had first got my radar detector. I think I was prepping the car. I was doing a shakedown for some shit. When I was getting ready for Z days, it was my first Z days with the CTSV. I'm like, fuck it. There's nobody out here. Waze is empty. Actually, it wasn't even Waze. Yeah, it might have been Waze. I was like, sent it. Had the GPS on the phone. It said 200, and I was like, fuck it. Let's see what it'll do. It started to get light, so I let off. But that was my favorite memory, was to first hit 200 miles an hour in that car.
I bet you that
That's
was
crazy.
sweet and scary at the same time.
It made me start smoking cigarettes again.
right away. You went straight to the gas.
I went to the gas station. I got out the car. I was like, with my legs, I'm like, God damn, my ankles are shaking. I can't get them stuck. Man, that was the biggest adrenaline high. I mean, dude, let me tell you, seriously, I was like the biggest adrenaline high I'd ever had, and I'd done some serious chemical shit to make.
Yeah.
You know.
That's cool though. That's a cool feeling though.
Yeah, that was
Definitely
fun.
is.
Or
I can't imagine getting to 200. Like
The most I've done was
the Mexico,
185.
I've gone up to like
Yeah.
160.
Yeah. That's before I put the drag wheels on. I
What was
just
it
want
going up to?
185
Okay.
just to see what it would do.
they got the gearing.
And I got the freaking, it was a slip turn, and I was like, let me let off. So I let off so the car could start slowing down before I got to it.
So the stock gearing is there to go 200 in a Z. I forgot the JDM guy. Some guy had built out his 350Z fully caged, and it was capable of 200. He had probably 700 or 800 horsepower. And he wadded it up, and they still have that car, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
He walked away, but I mean, it had enough safety built into it that he walked away. I think it was an orange car, was it?
Which one?
The orange 350Z that went for like a world speed record. It was a Japan car. I think it was Sun or something like that. I don't remember, but the gearing is there for them to go really fast.
Yeah, like my car, the turbo setup and everything is built for top end.
Yeah, that car will send it to the moon, no problem. I think that car with the right area, which we don't have here anymore.
No, dude, the traffic is insane.
Yeah,
Like when we get up to try to go to coffee all the way in Concord and stuff, it's like obviously like an hour drive. It's like 6 a.m. and there's traffic, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Where are all these people going? Like at this time, it's 6 a.m. on a Saturday morning.
oh yeah.
Like this used to be our time. Like give it back.
Not anymore.
I mean, I was surprised this morning. I was sending the fuck out of it through cars left and right. My Escalade. I'm just fucking. This is how you're supposed to drive. Sorry, I was in a car with. I'm a bad passenger because when I'm sitting in the car, I'm like, there's a gap there. You fit there. Go for it. You know. What the fuck are we sitting here? You know. Forget about it. If they get in the right lane, I'm like. If grid life comes back, they could damn well. I mean, their drift event is around the track, which is fun because they rent the track. But your car's got to be prepared for it. You know?
Yeah. That's the thing though, because once you make it like an event like that, then you have to have everybody have the safety feature.
Yeah. But they also
Can't be idiots hanging out your window while you're trying to do a donut.
for sure. Yeah, they have to control it somehow.
Yeah, but what if you didn't have to, right? What if I said, listen, you guys can come in here, $20 a pop. You need to sign this paper saying I'm not responsible for the stupid shit you do, and go do what you want to do.
Because
But
they'd still be responsible.
It's still your location. You're still allowing it. You hosting the event. It's like a lawyer will make it your responsibility.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they gotta, because that's exactly how kids are dying. They start hanging out the window. Idiots go in the middle when they start doing the no-nos, get smacked by a car, get sent off flying, paralyzed, like worse dead.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
So they'll make sure they make it your responsibility. I'm sure. They'll find a will and a way to do it.
And you know what? I criticize parts of the things about the current car culture. I'm not a saint. I don't do road rallies, and I very rarely do like group drives because I'm either the guy away in the back that's sliding the fuck around every corner, or I'm so far ahead of everybody that I gotta wait at the next turn because I don't drive slow and enjoy. I'm fucking ripping like I'm on a racetrack. So I'm no saint. I'm all about fun when I drive.
So that's I just reposted a video. It goes from when Forza becomes real life, and that's when we used to cruise to the Cars and Coffee, with all the GTR guys. It was balls to the wall. Everybody, we all gonna drive safe. As soon as you hit that fucking blacktop of the highway, it was on until you got off the exit of freaking where
That's
Cars
the
and
way it's
Coffee was.
supposed to be.
And
yeah.
but so this always been my thing, right? So if I've never been with a group of guys like driving, I take it down a notch until I see how you drive or how everybody else drives. But since we were always once you know how like you know, we drove around a lot.
Yeah.
Once you know how I drive, or you know how Chris drives, you're like, okay,
Yeah, we know what you're gonna do.
I could trust you driving. I know you're not gonna do something stupid to put you in a predicament and then make me crash my car.
All right.
But a lot of people don't do that. Everybody just like meets up for the first time, and everybody's just like 100%. And I'm like, nah, bro, you need to chill for a second.
Yeah, you know who you're driving with, and that's, you know, the car club culture, team culture, whatever. You know the people you're riding with, and for South, like coming from South Florida, where there was constantly any day of the week a place where you could cruise your ride, floss it, show it off, flex it, whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
There's constantly people, Fort Lauderdale Beach, Coconut Grove, South Beach. You could cruise any day of the week. You could hop in your car, go cruise and see hot chicks and fine men, whatever, all over the strip. Cruise in your car, they're looking at your car, you know.
Mhm.
You could do that there. And you just cruise around and have fun. You'd be ripping on the highways, but mostly you were cruising. There's nowhere like that here.
And I always tell people like, the car meets is cool because once you park, you get to walk around and see things. But the fun part about going to a car meet was always the meetup spot with your friends and then driving to the place.
Yeah.
That's like the best feeling ever,
Yep.
in my opinion. Better than actually like the car meet or the car show itself.
For sure. For sure.
So now we gotta do a little game before we wrap it up, where I'm gonna ask you or give you two choices, and then you have like 3 seconds to answer, and then I want to hear your opinion as to why you picked
Okay.
that answer. So, Toyota Supra or R34 GTR?
R34 GTR.
Why?
Because my wife wants a Toyota Supra and I don't. No. Honestly, I've considered, just so that I can have something to tinker with, building my wife an Supra.
Like, really?
Yeah,
Interesting. Okay.
yeah. But I'm not a Toyota guy.
Seriously?
Yeah, I'll take a Nissan any day over Toyota.
Interesting. Okay, that's cool. Even what about the 2J?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
2J's weak sauce, so I'm dropping LS in it.
Okay, interesting. Cool. So automatic transmission or manual?
Manual. Well, it depends. Depends on what you gotta have both. You need a car that's automatic that you could hold your girl's hand with, and or drink your beverage or whatever, play on your phone for some people. But if you want to have fun, you need a manual.
It's like if you want that raw feeling.
Yeah, I want one of each.
So wrap or paint?
Paint. I'm sorry, bro.
That's
Let me show you.
fine.
I gotta show you.
Listen, I don't disagree with
Wrap
you.
is
because-
cool when it was cheap, but when it's $3,500 to wrap your car, and you can have something like that.
That's a paint job?
That's a paint job. 17 colors. You know how much that paint job cost me? Now, granted, I did all the labor, $800. That's $800 paint job, and paint prices.
That is
really
like
come
period correct as fuck, bro. That's crazy.
up. Nah, don't worry about that call. Fuck that call.
Holy
But yeah,
shit.
17 colors,
That's interesting. as
and
shit.
you can do that on a wrap. I considered wrapping my Silverado
Mm-hmm.
for close. Okay. I considered wrapping my Silverado just to delay repainting it for 2 years.
Mhm.
Now, you guys see my Silverado, the paint's perfect. Not to me, you know?
we had that conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, the little imperfections and
Yeah.
where you could improve it.
Yeah, paint over wrap. Paint's gonna last longer. Wrap is cool, but you gotta redo it every 3 years, and it's a motherfucker to get off if you wait too long.
I'm dealing with that. Well, so I have my roof, like 3M wrap, and I just peeled it off because it started like flaking off in the corner.
Yeah.
And now I have all the glue stuck on the top of the roof.
Yeah, bro, it's a nightmare.
I'm like, how the fuck? I was like, this shit's only been here for 2 years, not even that old.
It's gotta be hot as fuck, and you're gonna have to like. peel it off.
I've been trying to like figure out Goo Gone. We tried his, you know, like that little rubber wheel thing, the
Yeah,
yellow.
that's a mess.
We tried using that and it wouldn't get it off.
Yeah. I mean, you could, but you'd be there for 6 days trying
Yeah.
to fucking get over
I
that.
was like, dude, what the heck?
And you gotta be careful not to damage the paint underneath.
That's my biggest, because I know, you know, Nissan fucking clear coat is not the
Yeah.
greatest to begin with.
Paint all day.
Bro, it's just
It was stressful. So you said this. I know you say you like supercharger. This was a question, like turbo or supercharger.
So there's forced induction for everything. Like I prefer superchargers because it's instantaneous power.
Mm-hmm.
But heat soak sucks, and does happen. And turbos are more efficient. You know, it doesn't take 100 horsepower to spool up a turbo.
Yeah.
You're making, imagine the power a Hellcat would make if it didn't have to take 100 horsepower to make that horsepower. You know, because the engine turning the supercharger and the belts and all the accessories, it takes 100 horsepower to do that. So
I feel like a lot of people have the misconception that supercharger is easier on the motor than a turbo is. And I feel like it's the other way around.
I think there's.
it's
pros
more,
and cons.
turbos are more efficient. But I still gotta go. I hate turbo lag like a motherfucker, bro. I want my power. I want it now. You know,
That's so from the get-go.
from the get go. I mean, I'll let you drive my CTSV one day. You'll be like, I understand now.
Well, I told Chris, you know, because I had the supercharged 350Z and now the turbo 370, and it feels nearly the same. Like, you won't feel the turbo lag on my car. It is
Really?
ridiculous. Like, I'll light up the tires in third gear if I floor it.
My pops has a 05 C6 white. It's not a Z06 or nothing, just plain base. And when he first got it, I went up to PA to drive it, and I went to Wawa by myself, and I hit the gas, and the car just so much power in the back. I was like, "This is stock? Is he serious?" And he's like, "Yeah, that's the way it is." I'm like, "Shit, this is nice."
Yeah.
VA life.
It is, but so there's things you can do with turbos you can't do with superchargers. Like you can tune a turbo to where you have more low end torque, more mid range, more top end, like just by the size of the
turbo housing.
the turbo housing. But then you also have the opportunity to move your turbo closer to the head or further from the head, because that will also change things. And that's why the VR38 or the VR30, they put the turbos literally in the manifold, because that's what makes the least amount of turbo lag. And smaller turbos, or you have variable rate turbos, you have one turbo smaller, one turbo bigger, like the 2J did.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's things you can do with turbos that you can't do with superchargers.
Yeah.
But to be completely honest, I'm an NA guy. All day, NA.
Oh, wait, seriously?
Fuck forced induction. Too much bullshit. You add too much weight to the car. Heat soak. Let me tell you about heat soak. My CTSV heat soaks like you would not believe.
Even with the Benz hood?
You
Did
can
you
take
lose
the
that?
hood off of a CTSV and it's still going to heat soak.
Seriously?
Yeah, I remember when I first started, when I was doing taxi runs back and forth on the Dragon with the CTSV,
Uh-huh.
dude, I scared myself a couple times.
With the temps?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Trans temp, engine temp. And it's because it sounds awesome when the engine's revved out,
Right.
right?
Of course.
And you're going through the corners, but with those kind of cars, you don't need that. So it kind of takes away from it, the experience.
Mhm.
The engine's just, you're still going the same speed, you're just 4,000 RPMs lower.
Yeah.
So I learned to use it as a momentum car on the Dragon instead of using the power.
Yeah.
And that's how I quelled my heat soak. But I fucking can't stand heat soak.
And
So I'm an NA guy.
So yeah, it's funny you say that, because I went to the Dragon and I took my 350Z NA, like it was tuned, and there were some guys with turbo like VQs, and then they're like, bro, how the fuck, why are you so fast? And I was like, bro, why you like barely on the throttle? I'm blasting through here full throttle all around these fucking turns. Like my chassis was bottoming out around these fucking corners.
Slow car fast, bro.
So they
They've been
didn't
saying
get
it
that.
since the dawn of time. Nobody understands.
They didn't get that. They were like, it doesn't make sense. They were like, on the straightaway, we pull away from you, but when there's a lot of turns, they were like, you like pushing us out the way. And I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you, bro.
Yeah.
Plus, my car's a lot lighter. It weighed like 2,700 pounds. So, so the last one is wide body or stock body car.
Coming from a body.
Coming from a person that did wide bodies for a living,
We had this conversation a couple of weeks back.
It depends, man. There's like I said, there's wide body cars look cool as shit.
They do.
You know, like perfect example, the Chargers look so much better wide body than they do narrow body, but those cars are really a narrow body car with the flare stuck on the side, so you can't like stanch it and make it look good, you know. But I'm gonna say, leave a stock body, put a kit on it, and spend that wide body money on power and brakes and handling. I'm more functional.
I think I found my answer.
So he's debating on the upgrades to do to his car.
Don't wide body your car. All right. Anybody that goes out and spends $50,000 on a car, do not cut your quarter panels on it and put some bullshit fiberglass body kit on your car. Don't do it.
And trees,
That's
brother.
it.
He put me on.
That's a good tip coming from the body guy.
He put me on to some info 2-3 weeks ago, or whatever, a month ago, whatever it was. I did not know there is a heat difference between the metal and the fiberglass. And then you said it was a third one, and the Bondo.
Plus the Bondo or the weld bond adhesive.
That's-
Or, yeah.
That's why the fiberglass cracks.
Yeah, none of that shit lasts forever unless it's complete. You can go look at a car at SEMA, all right, and know, like a Kindig car, or a George Barris car, or a Boyd Coddington car, or any one of those guys' cars that are all metal, but they're all skim coated with Bondo to make them look that flat. Every fucking one of them, all right. Unless it's a bare metal car, it's got body filler on it.
Like a
Right.
DeLorean.
Yeah. So you take that body filler, and then you have metal, and then you have your fiberglass body kit. They're all going to expand and contract differently. So when your car's out in the sun at a car show, well, let's say it's 30 degrees today, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your car stood outside. You leave to go to a car show. And it gets one of those typical North Carolina winter days where it's 75 degrees, you know, at the end of the day, and your car's been in the sun all day, so it's expanding and contracting, all three different rates. Over time, that's going to fall apart.
Interesting.
It's going to fall apart.
That's-
Unless you do an
that's
actual
something I'm
bolt-on
learning.
wide body kit,
Yeah.
you know, where you have the rivets showing. As long as you properly weld your quarter panels shut, which you're still fucking with the integrity of the chassis, I mean, that's the only way I would do it. I would not mold in a
I
wide
feel
body.
like that's why a lot of people look at the bumper and then they look at the paint on the hood or the fenders. And some people's like, man, I could never get this to paint match. And I'm like, duh, stupid. It's plastic and that's freaking metal. The paint, it lays different.
Look at every brand new. You go to any car dealer, look at any brand new car. The bumpers will not match the fenders or whatever.
And no matter what it's just plastic and metal. Two completely different things that you paint.
Yeah, different things, different flips, and there's so many different variables for
I
that.
don't know, I guess I'm going to buy something today, and it's not going to be a fucking body kit.
Christmas money, I'm gonna buy my wife some shit.
So not to switch it up again, what is your opinion on people that expose shops that do bad work online?
So
Being that you're coming from being a shop owner and stuff like that, you probably had.
any guy, if it's blatantly bad work and you know somebody's out there to fuck somebody, expose the fuck out of them. But there's legitimate people that go places, all right, and want to do a $10,000 body repair job for $2,000. And this guy's like, you know, you got a shade tree guy or a guy in his backyard or whatever that does it and does the best of his ability, makes the car run and work. And it might be a shit job, but you got your money's worth. You know, if you're going to pay $2,000 to get your car, something done at a shop that you know is going to cost $10,000, you don't have room to bitch and complain about it because you made the choice to go to that guy and you get what you pay for in this industry. You need to do your due diligence and know the shop. And if it's a blatant case of they fucked you over and they knew they were out to scam you, blast them.
I think that's a good way to put it. A lot of people don't see it that way. They're just like, oh, my buddy over here could do it cheaper, and at the end of the day, like, you also want like what's it called, warranty on something, right? If I'm paying you X amount of money, I want to know that you're like, hey man, you know, something happens, you get rock chips, or somehow for some god or reason the paint starts fading or flaking off. I bring it back, we'll fix it. You know, we'll take care of it.
Yeah, and there's shops like mine that they have lifetime warranties, you know, as long as you own the car or whatever. But there's things that they won't cover, like rock chips and stuff like that. But we also won't mold fiberglass to metal and say you got a lifetime warranty. We're going to be like, there's no warranty on this because these products aren't really designed to be put together in that sort of fashion. So unless it's a full replacement, like Fosberg's race car, you know,
Yeah.
he put an entire bolt-on quarter panel that was already molded wide body. But then he fixed his structural integrity with a full cage. So not having quarter panels, which your quarter panel is an integral part of your structure in the back, can be, if you're going to put in a cage back there, then you can run an open quarter panel with a bolt-on.
Because it strengthens up the chassis of the car.
Yeah, you no longer need that structure, but on a street car, you need that structure.
If you're gonna go wide body, you better go wide the fuck body at that point.
Yeah,
Not
like-
just get an inch or two. You want 3, 4.
Like,
inches.
don't do like bolt on what they call fender flares.
Well,
Yeah.
that's
So no, bolt on. If you're gonna leave them bolt on, bolt them on. You know, there's a certain individual's car, and this guy, I respect him, and he's a good guy. He works his ass off. He's a really good dad, you know, and he went through some shit, and he got one of those expensive $50,000 cars, and he cut it up and wide bodied it and wrapped it, and I was shocked. Like I'm like, oh my god. Knowing that I know that structure hasn't been repaired properly, you know, and the car looks great. It goes everywhere. It gets looks and gets trophies, gets in all the booths and everything. And I'll never say a bad thing about it or the car, but deep down in my heart, I know it ain't right and it's structurally not safe. But I'll never tell him because I love him. Like he's a buddy and it's someone, you know, from back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm proud of him. Like he came up hard. He used to have a 350. I think he still has a 350. You just don't see it no more.
I think I know exactly what you're talking about.
I don't have no.
Yeah.
It's from the three. Once you mentioned the 350Z, that put the cherry on top. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
We could talk about it off camera, but yeah, I
Yeah,
know who you're
yeah,
talking about.
and I love him. He's a great guy, and I mean,
Yeah, he is.
I was super impressed with him as a dad, and he does his thing. You know, he makes his money, he does his thing. He's a good guy. But man, I was devastated when I saw he cut that car up. It's like only because from the collision side of things, like if it was like all welded up properly.
Mm-hmm.
And he reinforced the rear structure and then did his wide body and used paint, not vinyl. Paint is not dead. I think that car could be like a world-class car.
Yeah.
You know? Like, and in today's car culture, it's a world-class car.
Yes.
You know? But it's not a SEMA car. It is not.
No.
Although, I don't know.
It could be.
SEMA.
It could be. The
Fucking wind.
the way that the SEMA shit been going lately, like there's people that wrap the cars just to bring them to SEMA. So I mean, like it could be.
What wasn't it?
I think people doing more
Miata with a Lamborghini engine. Was
Oh yeah,
that
that's
at,
fake
with
as
the
fuck,
Miata?
bro.
but that was at SEMA.
Yeah, that was at
Yeah.
SEMA. And of course, there's gonna be those
like posers.
the fucking Bluetooth drive shafts and all that shit. Fucking, who's the Asian guy? That's the Asian
Yes.
YouTube creator with the Lamborghini.
Troy,
Yeah,
Troy or whatever.
I think you're talking about the RWB guy.
no, that was one fucked up video, but there's an explanation behind that. Okay,
Okay.
but going back to that Asian guy that had the Lamborghini with the exoskeleton that was at SEMA.
Oh no, then that
Alex Choi.
Was it Alex Choi?
Yeah, Alex Choi's Lamborghini. Man, I saw pictures of that thing up close. It looked like the roll cage was literally held together with popcorn. Because the welds were that bad. And they powder coated over that shit and sent it. But he's a rich fuck. He don't care. You know? He's done 10 different renditions of that car. That is his missile car. You know, so I understand, but that's the kind of shit you see at SEMA. So there's gonna be that shit's gonna get in everywhere. But going back to that car, he's doing things on a budget with that car. You know, he's a family man. His kids come first. His family comes first. His bills come first. The car comes second. You know, so I understand, and I'll never speak badly about the car. But it's a world-class car in today's car culture. But if you go into when car culture before wraps and before that shit and true custom cars,
People will look at it and be like, what?
Hot Import Nights 2000, 2002 type shit, like where everything was all paint.
It was.
That's where it needs to be. Like,
Yeah.
like I wish I could inspire that person, but I can't because he's a friend of mine, and I won't talk bad about his car.
You just gotta respect what they do.
Yeah, respect his game. You know.
That's pretty good way to put it. What car would you recommend somebody not to get? Like, let's say tomorrow or today, a friend comes like, "Hey, I'm looking for a car."
Are we talking new or used?
Either one.
So new car, if you're leasing it, just get what you want. The most car you can afford responsibly for your money. Don't be like me and spend all your money on cars. I mean,
Or if you're trying to buy it.
if you're trying to buy it, something you're going to buy for good, one thing I would not recommend is anything German.
Anything German?
Yeah.
Okay. That's not bad. Well, I want to thank you for taking the time of being here. Where could everybody find you on social media? So I could.
I don't have a lot of social media, bro.
You don't?
No. I mean, I have my Facebook page, but I don't even know what my Facebook address is. Like, I'm not really into social media. You could find me.
Through J-Rod.
Just look for the smoke. It's Tire Smoke. That's how you can find me. No, if you can, somewhere put on there Rachel's Instagram. You can find
okay.
it.
Yeah.
You can
So,
put her Instagram.
I'll put his wife car Instagram on the description below. So if you guys want to give him a follow and chat with him, very knowledgeable guy about bodywork and cars. And
It's nice to have a different perspective on life when it comes to cars, especially a guy who's had
more.
the
Yeah.
spectrum. But yeah, man, it's been a pleasure.
Hey man, February I'm gonna be about that New Balance life. No, not really. I'm just an old car guy.
But yeah, again, thank you so much for coming on. It was
Appreciate it.
awesome
It was
hearing your
fun.
story, and we could definitely do it again at some other point. You know, where more people.
I wanna
Hopefully, your
Rachel.
wife can join us.
Yeah, she's
Next
got
time.
she's got quite the car life. The reason I married her.
Yeah,
I mean,
that
she was a
that
car
was an interesting dynamic that Chris and I were trying to, come up with good questions. So, like, talk to you guys as a couple. You would have been the first couple.
Oh yeah,
be
we
on the
do
show,
it. Definitely,
'cause-
we could do that.
I would love to see.
She's shy, unless you piss her off.
What about if we give her some liquor
We
courage?
should give her some liquid courage.
Some Dominican
We
Brugal.
talk about that. Yeah, we definitely. I wanted her to come. We both woke up late as fuck because we haven't slept in probably a month.
Yeah,
So
I know how it
I
is.
woke up and I looked at the address. I'm like, oh fuck, it's an hour away. She's making bacon for me. I'm like, babe, I gotta go. We'll have BLTs for lunch. So
Yeah.
yeah, she's shy. She might have just been off in the cut. But I'm telling you guys see our dynamic.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I mean, that's what I think people should know. You guys are like car story and everything that goes into, being, I guess, like a car couple and being in the culture and stuff like that. So I think it'll be cool to know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, thanks again. And for everybody, please share with your friends and family. Take care until the next one.
Yeah. I'll see you.